Aloha friends, and welcome to the beach. We hope that you had a great week, and we want to talk to you about something today.
HRT.
It's something that I remember, 10 years ago I thought, oh, don't go on that. That's dangerous. It's not worth it. And I love how just the media, YouTube, all the things has brought us knowledge that those studies that showed people got breast cancer on HRT, they were already in their 70s, they were already sick, at risk for breast cancer. And I don't know, I think it's fantastic for people.
We've learned a lot over the last couple years about HRT, and why don't we just talk about some of the negatives if you don't go on HRT and some of the things that can happen to your arteries, bones, and that kind of stuff.
I don't think people realize, they're like, well, what if I don't have any symptoms? What if I don't have sleepless nights? What if I don't have chronic UTIs? What if I don't have, any of the hot flashes? Should I still consider HRT? My answer is yes, because you can't feel your bones deteriorating, which happens with low estrogen. You don't feel your arteries stiffening. That's why heart disease is the #1 killer in women, is because when you don't have estrogen, estrogen keeps the arteries nice and flexible. And when you don't have them, they get stiff, puts you at risk for heart disease. And you can't feel that happening.
Hey everyone, we are on a little safari here in Africa, and I got a little friend right behind me here, eating some grass and some trees. He's not a carnivore, but if you are, it's great to keep your electrolytes up, and especially when you travel, if you keep your electrolytes up, it really helps. I actually personally find I don't go number 2 as often if I don't bring my electrolytes along when I travel. I'll go 2-3 days without, but Element is great for travel. It's easy to pack. We really like it, and if you go to drinkelement.com, oh, watch out, /Keto Maria, you can get a free sample pack with order. So check it out, drinkelement.com /Keto Maria, and get a free sample pack with any order. So that's, some of the things that, if you're not having symptoms, can still cause problems down the road if you don't get your hormones in the right balance. And so there are also the obvious ones, hot flashes, and the things that
brain fog is a huge one, because you have estrogen receptors in your brain.
Sleep issues.
Gut issues. If you notice IBS or more either constipation or diarrhea are happening, that could be low estrogen, because you need that for your gut health. There's so many things like frozen shoulder or pain. A lot of times fibromyalgia is linked to low testosterone. So there's so many different things that can be helped with a simple cream. And this is what we should talk about too, is the different types that you can get.
Yeah, so why don't we first talk about what is a good level?
Oh
right?
yeah, that is a good question.
So
okay, so this is why if you have daughters, granddaughters, nieces that are in their 20s, they're feeling sexual and great, this is when they should get their levels tested, because my level is different than every other woman level on this beach, where I feel great at. There's no right answer. What you feel great at is not what I feel great at. It could be too much, it could be too little. And so knowing what you feel great at when you were in your 20s is what you should strive for. Because if you go to the doctor and get, like, say, I think I'm in menopause, and you get your blood work done, yep, you're in menopause. It doesn't mean anything.
It's not going to help you much.
It's not going to help you much.
So if you have kids, especially young women, encourage them to get their levels checked for their hormones when they're feeling great, when they're in their 20s.
Just to have it documented.
Just have a baseline, so in the future, this is where I felt great.
Yes. So that was a really great question, because there's no right answer. And when you go to a lab...
And if you are past that age, you're already in menopause, then it's a little bit of a playing game, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like some people go on the pellets or whatever. They're not FDA approved, and a lot of times it's just way too much testosterone, specifically.
And then you can't correct.
Hair loss. Well, you have to stick with it for 3 months.
Yeah.
You'll have hair loss, facial hair, acne, just all the negative side effects. I don't recommend that. There's also a cream. Comes in a little tube, you pinch a little bit out, you rub it on your skin, and that is a great option. However, if you have young children or grandchildren or little dogs that you're, I don't know if you breed them or whatever, holding them, then it might be a good option to not do that and do an injection. I think it's twice a week. You have to do it yourself. It's just like a peptide or whatever. It's not a big deal. I'm trying to think if there's other, if you have chronic UTIs or vaginal dryness, painful sex, that's a topical estrogen cream that you want to do, that you would put in that area.
Huge.
And that has changed so many people's lives. Chronic UTIs gone, painful sex done, vaginal dryness done. So that's a really great thing too.
So,
I know. When you do get low in estrogen, some of the negative side effects too are going to be, you're going to be more sensitive to caffeine, more sensitive to alcohol, more sensitive to carbohydrates. You become almost insulin resistant when you don't have estrogen.
yeah.
So you might notice you can't eat the same things anymore.
So then, how do people go about getting this done? That's going to be the next question.
That is frustrating because, going to a doctor's not cheap. The prescriptions are not necessarily cheap, but insurance should cover that. If you're lucky enough to have a doctor in your area, I wouldn't go to just any doctor. I would go to a menopause expert type doctor. This is what they do, that they take care of women in menopause. And sometimes it's a while to get an appointment, which is a bummer. So there are online doctors, which is great, and they're very knowledgeable.
I'll include the link to the couple of resources we have on that for finding a good doctor. But they are prescriptions, so you do need a doctor to get them.
You don't go on Amazon and look for estrogen cream or anything like that. Another thing to think about too is there's 3 different types of estrogen. And it's very common for an uneducated doctor to give you biased, which is 2 estrogens. You don't want that. You only want estradiol. So look, if I just told my doctor I don't want biased anymore, I just want estradiol, and they changed it.
Yeah, so it's good to have a doctor that's open to doing it, knows what they're doing, and gets you on the right things.
But like if you're just not feeling like yourself, you're a little bit crabbier, a little bit more irritable, you just notice some of those symptoms. This happens before your periods are gone. You slowly lower in all of those hormones before you're gone. So you should start before you're in menopause.
Still you feeling all those symptoms.
Yeah, so this is something that's like pre-care, and it's going to help your skin too, if you notice more wrinkles and stuff like that. So that's important.
So there's a lot of benefits. One of the things we've always done on a lot of topics is we're always open to learning more. Mm-hmm. And so, we're not going to be dogmatic about any one way or one thing. And so this is an example, we've changed our mind based on educating and learning more and working with some of the top people in this field about HRT.
Well, I'll be honest, I was noticing those symptoms, so I went on it. And I feel so much better. I didn't have the drive to do things anymore. Like, I'm very adventurous and I don't mind doing things by myself or going out on the paddleboard by myself or with the whales. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. I just wanted to watch TV and I just felt blah. And I just feel like myself again.
So hopefully that helps clear things up a bit about HRT. And feel free to message us or let us know in the comments about what you think, or if you have any questions.
If it helped change your life, inspire others too.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody. When I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with PCOS, acid reflux, depression, and IBS. Instead of taking those prescription drugs, I decided to change my life with food. Yes, food healed me, and it's healed so many of my clients over the past 20 years of working with people. If you are interested in transforming your life, check out ketomaria.com. I'd be honored to help you.